Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun!
Jalen stared at the alarm clock on his nightstand, its red digits blinking 7:15 a.m. as he rubbed the sleep from his eyes. The morning light filtered through the curtains of his bedroom in the spacious suburban house he shared with his father and his new stepmother, Elena. Their relationship had been strained from the start, ever since his father remarried 2 years ago. Elena was kind enough, with her warm smiles and attempts at conversation, but Jalen couldn't shake the resentment. She wasn't his mother, and her presence felt like an intrusion into the life he'd known before his real mother's passing when he was just a child. He sighed, swinging his legs over the side of the bed, his auburn hair tousled from sleep. He needed to get ready for his part-time job at the local bookstore, a quiet escape from the tensions at home. He shuffled to his closet, expecting the familiar sight of his jeans and t-shirts, but as he slid the door open, his heart skipped a beat. Gone were his usual clothes. In their place hung an array of women's garments, neatly arranged on hangers. A soft lilac pleated skirt caught his eye first, its fabric shimmering slightly in the light, paired with a matching cardigan that looked impossibly delicate. Blouses in pastel shades, dresses with feminine cuts, and even a few pairs of heels lined the shelves below. His mind reeled. This had to be some kind of mistake, or worse, a cruel joke. Anger bubbled up inside him, hot and immediate. Who did Elena think she was, messing with his personal space like this? Storming down the hallway, Jalen burst into the kitchen where Elena was pouring coffee, her back turned to him. "What the hell did you do to my closet?" he demanded, his voice echoing off the tiled walls. She turned slowly, her expression calm, almost expectant, holding a steaming mug in her hands. "Jalen, please, sit down. We need to talk." Her tone was gentle, but he wasn't in the mood for gentleness. He crossed his arms, glaring at her.
Talk? You replaced all my clothes with skirts and stuff? This is insane! I'm calling Dad!
Elena set the mug down and reached for a worn photo album on the counter, one Jalen didn't recognize. "Before you do that, look at this. I found it while cleaning out the attic last week. It belonged to your mother." The mention of his mother stopped him cold. He hesitated, then sat at the table as she opened the album. The pages revealed faded photographs from his childhood, snapshots of a younger him laughing in the backyard, playing with toys. But as she turned the pages, the images shifted. There he was, no more than 5 or 6, dressed in his mother's oversized dresses, a scarf tied around his head like a makeshift wig, twirling with unbridled joy. In another, he wore her pearls and lipstick, posing dramatically for the camera. His mother's handwriting captioned one, "My little explorer, always full of surprises." Jalen's anger ebbed away, replaced by a rush of memories he'd long buried. He'd forgotten those moments, or perhaps pushed them down after her death, when grief had overshadowed everything. Tears welled in his eyes as Elena spoke softly. "She loved you so much, Jalen. These photos show a side of you that was happy, free. I didn't mean to invade your privacy, but when I saw this, I thought, maybe this is who you've always been, deep down. The clothes in your closet, they're a start, if you want it to be. No pressure, but I'm here to support you." The walls he'd built around himself began to crack. For the first time, Elena didn't feel like an outsider. She felt like an ally. He wiped his eyes, nodding slowly. "I don't know what to say. It's been so long since I thought about that. She smiled, closing the album. Take your time. Try something on if it feels right. We can figure this out together. Later that morning, alone in his room, Jalen approached the closet again. His fingers brushed the lilac skirt, its pleats soft against his skin. With a deep breath, he slipped it on, followed by the matching cardigan. The fabric felt foreign, yet comforting, like rediscovering a lost part of himself. Looking in the mirror, he saw not Jalen, but someone new emerging. Auburn hair framing a face that suddenly seemed softer, more aligned with the image staring back. He decided then, this was the beginning. From that moment, she was Camille, and there was no turning back. The male clothes were gone, and so was the old identity. She would embrace this fully, always presenting as the woman she felt inside. Elena knocked gently on the door, entering with a look of quiet encouragement. You look beautiful, Camille, she said, using the name they'd discussed over breakfast, one that honored her mother's middle name. Camille blushed, adjusting the cardigan. It feels right, but I don't know where to start. Elena nodded. We'll take it slow. Let's go shopping this afternoon. Build a wardrobe that suits you! The mall was bustling with weekend shoppers, but Camille felt a mix of nerves and excitement as she walked beside Elena. They started at a boutique specializing in professional attire. Elena pointed out a charcoal pencil skirt, its tailored fit elegant and understated. This could be perfect for everyday wear, she suggested. Camille tried it on in the dressing room, pairing it with a silk blouse in a deep emerald tone, the jewel color bringing out the warmth in her auburn hair. The mirror reflected a sophisticated woman, confident and poised. She stepped out, and Elena beamed. That's you, Camille. It honors who you are now, while nodding to those vintage styles your mother loved. They spent hours browsing, adding more pieces. Silk blouses in sapphire and amethyst, their smooth textures a delight against her skin. Vintage-inspired dresses with flared skirts and Peter Pan collars evoked a sense of nostalgia, reminding Camille of the photos from her childhood. Each item was chosen with care, building a collection that felt authentic. By the end of the day, bags in hand, Camille walked taller, her steps in low heels clicking rhythmically on the mall floor. The tension with Elena had dissolved, replaced by a budding bond, like a mother and daughter rediscovering each other. Back home, Camille organized her new wardrobe, hanging the charcoal pencil skirt next to the lilac pleated one, arranging the jewel-toned blouses by color. She experimented with accessories Elena had picked out, a simple pearl necklace, echoing the one in the old photos, and a leather handbag in soft tan. That evening, as her father returned from work, Camille greeted him in the living room, wearing the emerald blouse and pencil skirt. He paused, surprise flickering across his face, but then he smiled warmly. You look just like your mother in some ways. I'm proud of you for being true to yourself. The family dinner that night was the first without underlying strain, filled with laughter and shared stories. Days turned into weeks, and under Elena's guidance, Camille delved deeper into her new life. Mornings began with selecting an outfit, perhaps a vintage dress in soft floral patterns for a casual day, its fabric swaying as she moved through the house. She enrolled in online courses for fashion history, learning about the eras that inspired her wardrobe, from the 1950s silhouettes to modern twists. Elena joined her, turning it into bonding time, discussing how each piece could blend past and present. One afternoon, they visited a local tailor for custom adjustments. The tailor, an older woman with a keen eye, measured Camille carefully. "This charcoal skirt will fit like a glove," she said, pinning the fabric. Camille stood still, auburn hair tied back in a loose ponytail, feeling the transformation solidify. The tailor added subtle details, a hidden pocket here, a reinforced hem there, making the garment uniquely hers. As they left, Elena suggested a stop at a cafe, where they sipped tea and people-watched. Camille noticed how naturally she blended in, her sophisticated attire drawing admiring glances rather than stares. Work at the bookstore became a new adventure. Camille arrived in a silk blouse in ruby red, tucked into a knee-length skirt, her auburn hair styled in soft waves. Her co-workers, initially surprised, quickly adapted, offering compliments on her style. "That color really suits you," one said, shelving books beside her. She spent shifts recommending novels to customers, her confidence growing with each interaction. One regular, an elderly gentleman, shared stories of his own youth, inspiring Camille to seek out books on personal journeys and self-discovery. Evenings often involved cooking with Elena, experimenting with recipes from her mother's old cookbook. Dressed in a comfortable vintage dress with cap sleeves, Camille chopped vegetables, the apron tied over her outfit protecting the fabric. They talked about everything: dreams, fears, the future. Elena shared her own experiences of loss and renewal, strengthening their connection. Camille's father joined in, the trio forming a supportive unit. As months passed, Camille's wardrobe expanded thoughtfully. She added more vintage-inspired dresses, each with unique patterns like subtle polka dots or lace trims, always in colors that complemented her auburn hair. A trip to an antique shop yielded a brooch that had belonged to someone much like her mother, pinning it to her cardigan as a talisman. Social outings increased. She attended a local book club in a jewel-toned blouse and pleated skirt, engaging in lively discussions about literature that mirrored her own story of transformation. One weekend, Elena organized a small gathering with close friends, introducing Camille to a wider circle. Nervous but excited, she chose a charcoal pencil skirt and sapphire blouse, accessorized with earrings that dangled gently. The evening unfolded with ease, guests sharing compliments and stories, making her feel accepted. Laughter filled the room as they played board games, Camille's auburn hair catching the light from the lamps. Challenges arose, of course. A rainy day brought a moment of doubt when an old acquaintance from her past life bumped into her at the grocery store. Dressed in a vintage dress with a belt cinched at the waist, Camille held her ground, introducing herself confidently. The encounter passed without incident, reinforcing her resolve. Elena was there afterward, offering a hug and words of encouragement. "You're stronger than you know," she said. Camille began journaling her experiences, filling pages with descriptions of outfits and emotions. One entry detailed the feel of a silk blouse against her skin during a walk in the park, the wind lifting the hem of her skirt slightly. Another recounted a day spent volunteering at a community center, her sophisticated attire inspiring conversations with others on personal style and identity. Holidays brought new traditions. For Thanksgiving, Camille wore a dress in deep burgundy, its vintage cut perfect for the family meal. She helped Elena prepare the turkey, their hands working in sync. The table was set with care, and as they gathered, gratitude filled the air. Christmas followed, with Camille selecting a festive blouse in emerald green, paired with the lilac skirt for a touch of whimsy. Gifts exchanged included a new photo album where they began documenting this chapter of her life. Spring arrived, and with it, opportunities for growth. Camille signed up for a sewing class, learning to alter her own clothes. In a classroom filled with fabrics, she practiced on a charcoal skirt, adding personalized touches like embroidered initials. Her auburn hair fell over her shoulders as she concentrated, the needle moving steadily. Elena attended a session with her, their shared laughter echoing among the machines. Summer brought outdoor adventures. A picnic in the park saw Camille in a light vintage dress, basket in hand, enjoying the sun. She and Elena explored farmers' markets, selecting fresh produce while discussing wardrobe additions for warmer weather. Lighter blouses in pastel jewels, skirts with breathable fabrics. As autumn leaves began to fall, Camille reflected on how far she'd come. Her wardrobe now filled 2 closets, a testament to her journey. Daily routines were infused with femininity, mornings styling her auburn hair, afternoons in the garden wearing a practical yet elegant skirt, evenings reading in a cozy cardigan. That evening, after finishing her journal entry, Camille glanced at her phone. A new message lit up the screen from an unknown number. "I saw you at the bookstore today. You looked incredible. I'd like to see more of you. After hours." Her heart skipped. She didn't recognize the number, but whoever it was, they knew her. She stared at the glowing text, torn between fear and curiosity, as a second message appeared. "Don't pretend you're not tempted." Hope you enjoyed the story so far. The rest will be available on Patreon.